Have you ever met someone so kind, so genuinely good, that for a second you wondered if they were even real? Like maybe you'd slipped into some alternate reality where people still treat each other with warmth. Not because they want something, but just because it's rare. But when it happens, it hits harder than your double-shot espresso with a side of existential crisis. Let's shift our focus to Finland, the land of quiet forests, trains that actually arrive on time, and more saunas than people. These folks don't just endure winter, they flirt with it. They treat minus 20 degrees Celsius like it's a mild breeze. You've seen the videos. Someone dives into a frozen lake and doesn't even flinch. Yeah, that's just a Tuesday in Helsinki. But beneath all that Nordic cool is a quiet tenderness, a depth that sometimes shows itself in the most unexpected ways. Cue the Filipinos. Now you're probably wondering, what do sun-loving, karaoke-belting islanders have to do with a land of snow, silence, and stoicism? A lot, actually, because when a group of Filipino caregivers brought their warmth to Finland, it didn't just make people smile, it brought Prime Minister Sanna Marin to the edge of tears. And let's be honest, when a politician can't find words, that's almost as rare as seeing a unicorn file taxes. In today's world, where apathy often masquerades as cool, kindness stands out. The deep, real kind. The kind that doesn't need a spotlight or a hashtag. Filipinos have a gift. They care. Not the performative kind, the real kind. The kind that shows up when you're struggling, who comforts you, cooks for you, sings to you, and manages to make you laugh while rubbing Vicks on your back. That's not just kindness, that's emotional CPR. So when Prime Minister Marin, cool, composed, polished, got up to speak about the contributions of foreign workers and instead got choked up, that wasn't weakness, that was truth. That was someone being cracked wide open by the kind of human connection we're all starving for. See, Finland has been through some things. They've fended off invading empires, rebuilt from war, and endured winters that could freeze your soul and your Wi-Fi. They came out of it strong, stable, quietly proud. Like if minimalism and integrity had a baby. And the Philippines? A different type of resilience. Colonization, corruption, natural disasters. It's like history threw everything at them, and they just smiled, sang, and passed you a plate of adobo. There's a spirit there that refuses to break. And more than that, it nurtures. Try arguing with a Filipino. You'll probably end up hugging and eating together by the end of it. That same spirit is what reached across the icy stillness of Finland and stirred its soul. These Filipino caregivers weren't just filling jobs. They were filling hearts. One gesture, one act of care, one smile at a time. Strip away the policies, the statistics, the headlines. What really stays with us? It's the human stuff. A gentle touch. A nurse who just gets it. A moment of laughter when everything feels heavy. That's what lasts. You might ask, why is this such a big deal? Well, let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly felt seen? Not for your productivity, not for your profile picture, but for who you are, when nobody's watching. Filipinos have this radar for that. They see people. They show up. With empathy so strong, it could warm a Finnish winter. So when the Prime Minister stood there, holding back tears, unable to finish a speech, it wasn't just a touching moment, it was a reality check. That no matter how efficient a nation becomes, it's the quiet, consistent care of everyday people that holds society together. These caregivers weren't background noise. They were and are the soul of the story. Let's not forget, Filipino workers around the world, known as OFWs, aren't just keeping economies afloat. They're raising kids, caring for elders, saving lives, and sacrificing time with their own families to do it. And often, they're invisible. But when someone like Sanna Marin chokes up on stage in front of the world, it sends a signal. that their work isn't just noticed, it's felt deeply. This moment in Finland wasn't just emotional, it was powerful. A reminder that even in the coldest parts of the world, warmth finds a way in. Filipinos didn't just bring labor, they brought soul, joy, light. And let's talk about that gift. A simple, hand-woven Filipino bag. No brand label, no glitter, just honesty and care. Not something off a Paris runway, but something richer, something real. A symbol of presence, of connection, of love that doesn't need words. The Prime Minister held it like it was sacred. Because it was. It represented a relationship built not on contracts or quotas, but on humanity. And here's the big idea. What if more of us lived like that? Showed up like that? What if success wasn't about noise or clout, but about presence and empathy? Because in the end, the true legacy we leave behind isn't about wealth or fame. It's about how we made others feel. And the Filipino community in Finland, they reminded us of that truth in the most beautiful way. So if you've ever been cared for by a Filipino, nurse, nanny, friend, co-worker, maybe take a moment, say thank you. Genuinely, quietly, the way they've always shown up for us. And if you are Filipino, know this. The world may not always say it loud, but we see you. You matter. And even in places like Finland, your light is being felt, even by a prime minister, even by all of us who needed a little reminder of what real care looks like. Finland, a country where education isn't a punishment, but a privilege, where teachers are treated like rock stars and recess is seen as essential, not a luxury. Their system isn't perfect, but it works because it puts people first. Now contrast that with the Philippines. Here, success doesn't come from policies or high-speed trains. It's built on sacrifice, long hours, and love passed down in home-cooked pancit. Want to understand true strength? Watch a Filipina mom raise 3 kids, send money back home, juggle multiple jobs, and still show up to church with her hair dyed lavender and a smile that hides exhaustion. That's not just hustle, that's a whole legacy in motion. Filipinos don't rely on massive safety nets. They build their own with faith and family. If you're going through something, someone will show up with adobo in a Tupperware, telling you to eat before you cry any further. That's emotional CPR, with rice on the side. So when you combine Finland's structured systems with the Philippines' deep warmth and humanity, what you get isn't chaos. It's a quiet kind of magic, like blending snow with sunlight. And that's what happened in one Finnish hospital. Enter Prime Minister Sanna Marin. She walks in expecting order, maybe even quiet admiration. What she didn't expect was a moment that would bring her to tears. Real, unstoppable human tears. She met Filipino caregivers, not just workers, but lifelines. They weren't just doing their jobs. They were easing pain, calming fear, and offering a kind of healing that doesn't come from a degree. It comes from the soul. These are people raised in a culture where you take your shoes off at the door, and your ego too. Where caring for others isn't a job description, it's a family tradition. And yet, this wasn't easy for them. These caregivers had left behind mango trees, noisy family dinners, and inside jokes in Tagalog. They traded the sun for snow, home for hospital corridors. Still, they adapted. They learned the language, showed up early, stayed late, smiled even when the world around them didn't. Not for applause, but because they believe care isn't just what you do, it's who you are. And when Prime Minister Marin cried, it wasn't just about what she saw. It was about what she felt. In the arms of these caregivers, she saw compassion that defied policy, warmth that transcended nationality. That wasn't just a hospital visit. It was a reminder that we're all just humans trying to care for one another. One of the caregivers handed Marin a traditional Filipino bag, a bayong, handmade, woven with care. It wasn't expensive, but it was priceless, because that bag carried stories of grandparents who lived through blackouts and still cooked a feast, of childhood shaped by laughter, struggle, and deep respect. It wasn't a gift, it was heritage in woven form. And when Marin held it, she wasn't holding a souvenir. She was holding gratitude, struggle, service. She didn't need to say a word. Her tears said it all. And soon, the world took notice. Finnish news outlets covered it. Communities started conversations. Suddenly, the spotlight wasn't on policies. It was on people. The quiet workers, the migrants, the Filipinos who stayed up late holding a trembling hand or humming lullabies in a foreign tongue. And for once, they weren't invisible. They were seen. The world finally noticed the people who had been noticing everyone else all along. And those tears, they became a ripple. Because kindness, when witnessed, multiplies. Filipino overseas workers don't need a statue. They need understanding, recognition, a simple thank you that actually means something. They're the ones sending money not for gadgets, but for grandma's insulin, for their child's school uniform, for a sibling's business back home. They miss birthdays, first steps, graduations, just so someone else can have a better future. They hide their pain behind WhatsApp smiles and pixelated video calls, pretending the distance doesn't break them a little more each time. And yet, they serve, with quiet pride, with soft hearts, with dignity that no title or passport can define. They don't need awards. They just want to know they matter. That bag, the bayong, wasn't just a present, it was presence. A gentle reminder that no matter how far you go, your roots go with you. And in that room, with a tearful Prime Minister and a handful of caregivers, the world shifted. Because in a society built on efficiency, it was emotion that stood still. Let's be honest, many people don't know what these workers give up. They don't see the late nights spent weeping silently in dorms, the cultural jokes they don't get, the accents mocked, or the loneliness that creeps in during quiet shifts. They don't see it, but they feel the results. The clean floors, the comforted patients, the lives saved, not just through medicine, but through empathy. The next time someone makes a snap judgment about a caregiver with an accent, remember this: that person may be the reason someone's grandfather lived one more peaceful week. And if a moment of kindness, wrapped in a smile and a woven bag, can make a world leader cry, maybe it's time the rest of us paid more attention. This isn't just about Finland or the Philippines. It's about the power of care, the value of showing up, the humanity behind the uniform. So let's hold space for those who hold everyone else. Let's listen to the quiet workers. Let's learn from the people who bring their heart to work every single day. Because they're not just caregivers. They are bridges between cultures, between generations, between silence and hope. And that deserves more than applause. It deserves remembrance. After that moment, the ripple effect wasn't just a fleeting emotional moment. It wasn't some brief piece of news squeezed between the weather and a viral cat story. No, this was a story that truly reached people's hearts. Meetings were held. Labor rights became a key topic. Not because a consultant presented a polished deck, but because a nurse offered a simple gift and a prime minister was moved to tears. Suddenly, nations began asking, are we really doing enough for the people who do everything for us? The answer was clear, no. But the important part was that the question had been raised. Have you ever noticed that the world only stops when emotions spill over? It's not enough to work tirelessly behind the scenes. Someone has to show raw emotion in front of an audience before people realize how much has been carried. That's exactly what happened. When Marin's voice cracked, so did the illusion that everything was okay. It wasn't, it still isn't, but in that vulnerable moment, the light started to shine through. And speaking of light, if anyone knows how to bring warmth to a room, it's a Filipino nurse working a late shift in a hospital. They have this magical way of turning even the most impersonal, sterile environments into something that feels like home. You walk in feeling sick and maybe a little heartbroken, and somehow they tend to both. They tell stories about love, about loss, about a cousin's secret double wedding, about saving lives, and then getting a video call from mom scolding them for not fixing their hair. Real, honest stories. The kind that remind you that we're all just trying to survive with some dignity and grace. This moment wasn't about a bag or a speech. It was about the people who bear the world's weight without ever getting credit. It was about the silent heroes who carry the load of care, compassion, and kindness, yet remain unseen. But this time, someone noticed. The world finally looked beyond the job title, beyond the language barriers, the paperwork, and the bureaucracy, and saw the human underneath it all. So next time you see someone quietly doing the work that goes unnoticed, whether it's cleaning, holding a hand, or sending money back home, take a moment, thank them, and mean it. No hashtags, no grand gestures, just genuine gratitude from one human to another. Because the people who carry us deserve more than applause. They deserve respect, dignity, and maybe a little help shouldering the burden. Living here in BGC has been one of the most incredible experiences of my life. It has everything. Tall, shiny buildings, world-class coffee, air-conditioned malls that double as exercise zones, and more adorable dogs per square meter than you'd think possible. But it's not the architecture, or the sunny weather, or even the Jollibee mascot with those creepy, unblinking eyes that make it so special. It's the people, particularly the Filipinos I've met here. These folks, they're something else. They have this perfect balance of humility and humor that makes you want to be a better person without ever feeling like you failed. And believe me, I've had my fair share of creative failures. But here they are, smiling, laughing, genuinely asking how your day's been. Whether they're your barista, your security guard, your driver, or even a stranger holding the elevator door for you like you just made their day by showing up. The Filipinos I've met here have hearts as big as Rizal Park. They share stories, food, unsolicited advice about your love life, and karaoke playlists, whether you asked for them or not. And their resilience, it's something to admire. No matter what's going on, typhoon, traffic, or just life, they somehow manage to smile through it. It's not a fake smile either. It's one that says, hey, it's tough, but we're tougher. I absolutely love living here in BGC. The energy, the people, the late-night food runs. But I also get it. I understand why some Filipinos leave, why they pack up and head overseas. It's not because they don't love their country. They love it fiercely, deeply. It shows in every overseas Filipino worker who sends money home so their kids can live a better life. It's in every parent working multiple jobs abroad to build a home here, brick by brick, dream by dream. They're not leaving because they don't love the Philippines. They leave because they want better for the people they love. And sometimes, to give more, they need to go far, endure cold winters, learn strange languages, and work jobs that don't always appreciate them. But still, they go. They give. They send love home in balikbayan boxes and through WhatsApp messages. To every Filipino I've met here in BGC, and those watching from far away, I see you. I admire you. I respect you deeply. Your spirit, your warmth, your work ethic, it's world-class. Truly. I want to say something simple but important. God bless you for everything you do, for everything you continue to do, for carrying so much of the world's weight with so little recognition. You are the heartbeat of your country, whether you're here or on the other side of the world. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.